Hello and welcome back to another out of spec detailing video. Today we've got the Rivian R1S in the shop. We've got multi-part series going up on this. This is video 1. We've already washed this car, so stay tuned for washing Rivian R1S as well as interior video coming up soon. Today we are talking though build quality. How is this thing screwed together? How do panels fit? We're not going to do a deep dive into the paint analysis. I'll point a few things out here and there, but this is a press vehicle. It's been touched by tons and tons of people, so we can assume that the paint is probably not in the best condition. But let's jump into this and see how this thing's built.
Hey Colton, thanks so much for taking the time to do a in-depth build quality analysis. Now sometimes we do these videos and they're an hour plus long. We're going to do a speed run through on this because you and I have actually already gone through Rivian R1T at length.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're seeing too much different here except for the changes to R1S. And so we're going to recommend watching a video if you want an in-depth build quality analysis in the description below. But for now, we got the R1S, so let's just do a quick walk around of the truck, of the spec, of everything. And also we should mention, this is VIN 140, so a really early truck. Take us around, let's see the front of this thing. It's looking real nice. What's the spec and what do you think?
So this is Rivian Blue on the, you're gonna know better than I do what specific wheels these are.
Just the black 20-inch all-terrains, yep.
I personally love them. I just think they look incredible. This is the black interior. Yeah, just absolutely love the spec on this. Personally, I think this is extremely cool. I may go for the 22s, but nonetheless, really nice.
Yeah, because you ordered one of these things.
I did, and I'm super excited. This will be a car for my wife if she ever gets to drive it.
That's right, you might steal it and she'll be driving the Tesla.
I might be stealing it. But what's really interesting, I've spent some time with Kyle's R1T, just absolutely love the vehicle, and I think in reality, this is a lot more practical for us. So we're a family of 2 with 2 dogs, and we have pretty big dogs. So we've got golden retrievers. There's a video with Kyle's dogs and them in and out of this thing, making it nice and dirty for us to film some good videos over on the Out of Spec Reviews channel. So definitely go check that out. But this is really kind of an interesting vehicle because I think pretty much from B-pillar forward is R1T. It's at the back of the R1S that really starts changing. Big noticing here, this is how you can tell from the front end that this is an S versus a T, this kind of aluminum trim belt line. And I think that's where we're gonna start on fit and finish on this because I've seen some kind of weird things on this one.
And actually, before we get over to that, the other thing I wanted to mention is R1S has black roof versus body color.
Yes,
like R1T.
that's true.
And I also think it's really important that we mention this is an early VIN, number 140. You know, it's a press vehicle, so it's been to hell and back.
Yeah.
We know, you know, Zach from Jerry Rig Everything's been driving it. Quinn Nelson's been driving it. It's made the rounds. It's going to TFL next week. This thing is going to live a rough life.
Yep.
So that's kind of why we're not going in depth on the paint. We'll show a couple situations, I think. But yeah, these vehicles live a really rough life, these media vehicles.
They do. I mean, they're constant, like this thing was filthy before and just scrubbed it. Some people may not be as nice to gently wash it as much as we did and take the hour-long detailing process. That video will come up after this, so you guys definitely should check that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely interesting there. So let's start on this kind of belt line trim. First off, noticing just alignment here. This is not the greatest. And there's also a piece of like glue sticking out here.
Oh, very interesting.
But like as you come in here, everything moves. Like it's, I don't know, this really doesn't feel that well put together in my opinion.
Can you show it moving again? Because I just don't think I got a good shot of that
Yeah,
there.
definitely. So like you can see you're moving this one and this one's kind of like shimmying around. It's just, it's very kind of strange here. On this piece as well, I was noticing, it looks like this is separated. So there's actually like a piece of glue. It's a little wet right now, but this is definitely up compared to here, kind of goofy on that for sure.
I'm also noticing just from here, I don't know if you were going to point it out or not, sorry to interrupt, but this rear glass piece right here is pretty tight on this edge and not so tight over there.
Check this out here. I mean, quite a bit bigger gap than down here. Yeah, there's a lot of weird things with this car. I mean, here you've got basically a full pinky that you can push in. I know the other side, this is not in very well.
Oh, that was a little rattly, wasn't it?
wow. Very, very, very rattly.
So just before we go deeper, my impression as an R1T owner, and I have almost 20,000 miles on my truck, is holy crap, how is this thing so good for a brand new car company to make a vehicle still without any squeaks or rattles? It's got some weird drivetrain half shaft clunks. We know about that. They're working on a re-engineering fix. The tonneau's got some issues. The air compressor's got some issues. We get that. But from an actual body fit and finish standpoint, and interior fit and finish especially, I think the same on this truck. Unbelievable work and quality. And just really quick to point the camera inside here. You have the key in your pocket.
We've got to unlock this. This thing keeps locking like all the time.
It loves to lock. And it's in Halloween mode right now.
Yeah, so you can point out here too. This, I believe you said, goes away, but we've got red lighting on the inside.
Right, we did put it in Halloween mode, which is pretty fun, and it howls when you unlock it. But just the quality here of this wood, which is no longer the standard option, actually. The standard option is now using this same sort of vinyl material to be used on the dash, which my guess is it's really hard to form this wood around these edges and things like this. So, but they did one hell of a nice job with this thing.
It's beautiful and place to be. And I think all interior options are really cool in their own way. They feel different enough to where if you're getting in a different truck or SUV in this case, that they feel kind of special in their own way. You've got the Forest Edge interior, which I really like. We've seen the Ocean Coast, which is just super cool. I have some nitpicks on that as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe for another video.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would actually go for Ocean Coast if I had the choice. On the
I
next
would
one.
too, but the headliner drives me nuts.
Yeah, it needs a black headliner.
And
needs a black headliner.
the steering wheel.
That's easy to fix.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. Let's keep walking around the outside here though. We're noticing just some of like, I don't know, like it feels every panel gap here is kind of off. So notice up here.
It's almost like this rear cap. Like
Yeah.
everything that's been changed almost felt like, okay, compared to R1T at least, like a secondary thought.
Yeah.
They're like, oh crap, we need to make an SUV. Meanwhile, hasn't it always been the plan to produce this vehicle?
Yeah, you would think so. It kind of feels afterthought in
Feels
a way.
rushed in
It
the
does.
way. I mean, and it could just be an early build, but like, holy smokes, I'm looking at ripples through this thermoplastic here. This gap doesn't really line up super nicely.
Come back around here. I hope you can get this on camera because it's very visual in person. I've never actually seen this until now. So look at how this kind of sticks up here, the actual top of the roof compared to over here. It basically starts kind of poking out over, I would call it this rear spoiler part, comes up and it's just like on a huge angle. And then over here, you've just got this like crazy edge coming in here. And then, yeah, it just doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't fit very well. This again, same thing, very plasticky on that. I don't love that so far. We literally have more adhesive sticking through here, like literally glue coming out. Kind of interesting to say the least on that. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, I would say overall, my truck feels way better put together, and that's a VIN 4000 something. It was an early-ish truck compared to obviously a very early VIN R1S, but it even goes beyond the body fit and finish to me. Now, the doors seem to fit really nice on this.
They do.
Everything's nice. There's no rattles in the vehicle.
No.
The one thing, though, is that I would say everything about it just feels a little bit less optimized to me than R1T. For example, the air compressor noise. In R1T, it's put in a place where it's really quiet. In this, it's a very overactive air compressor for the suspension, and it reverberates through the whole cabin.
Yeah, driver's seat, you literally feel it vibrating.
It's pretty crazy. And
yeah.
every time it goes to kneel mode when you park it and it raises back up, it has just enough air to get it back to standard, but then it tries to replenish. So you're driving down the road and zzz,
Yeah.
and it just seems okay, a little bit crazy. I will say, though, I had another R1S owner in this vehicle today because we went to a Rivian meetup this morning. He said his truck wasn't nearly as loud as this one. So I did just have to bring that up. I don't know if that was just because he's an enthusiast and wanted, thought that it wasn't so bad, but he at least recognizes, well, like, okay, something's going on here.
It's noticeable.
The other thing I've noticed is similar to the back is the way that the front panels fit on this truck as well. If you take a look up here onto the roof, let me just zoom in here, you'll see where the roof meets. Where did my finger go? Whoa, okay. Where the roof meets is a big gap over here on this side, on the left side. And on the right side, almost nothing at all. So very odd to see this type of, I would say, crazy elevation change right here on a production vehicle. That just seems a
Wow,
little bit
you really
wild.
see that from standing like dead on. It's like very, very off there.
It's like the whole thing is twisted. And so that's where it's like, okay, the front end, everything here, super well put together.
Yeah, honestly, hood alignment here looks pretty spot on. I know on your truck, even we had a little bit of adjustment that you had to make on it, right?
Yep, we sent it back in. I mean, wasn't sending it back in for that issue. It just happened to be there.
It was there, and it's like, hey, do you mind doing that?
Right,
But
and
it looks pretty darn good. I would say even charge port over here, which I always look at because this is such a unique piece. In my opinion, very over-engineered. I would prefer to just have a simple flap that's not like, I don't know.
And I would love to have 2 charge ports for towing because sometimes we can only get to the,
Right.
But that's a different topic for a different day.
One piece I wanted to show, maybe you can flip around on this side. I was looking at this earlier. We had the door open here with sunshine coming in. I was noticing this huge gap here, and then I started going, yeah, that's kind of like not the best in there. It seems like very not put together. Your truck, again, it feels, again, this is an early VIN, but I wanted to point these things out because it doesn't feel exactly kind of screwed together like your truck does.
But don't you think that would be the same component that the truck is?
I would think so, but definitely, I don't know. It's different.
And then inside, when we open up the tailgate, there we go. Nope, it's locked. It likes to lock itself.
It loves to it locked the keys in.
There's the howl.
And this is kind of weird. I don't love how that opens. It kind of like shutters and you're like, oh, kind of step back, and then it takes a second. I've hit it multiple times and been like, yeah, it's kind of weird.
I just think this panel, these things, these sliders are really...
They're tight and very plasticky.
It's like you can't freaking close it unless you get in on here. Yeah. So it's like everything that's been adapted to R1S is like really not good, but all the existing R1T stuff is solid. Now, I will say, seating-wise, the third row, really nice, really comfortable, great materials. I like the thunk when they go down, they lock in.
Yep.
Should we actually demonstrate that really quick?
Sure.
Hey, Alyssa, would you mind coming over here and raising up the third row for us? And we'll give it a nice thunk when you close it down.
And this is one of my biggest gripes. At this price point, I still think this should be powered, and it's not really the nicest sounding thud there either.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it's not going to impact your ownership experience, I don't think.
not.
But I made the comment too, and everyone's like, oh, well, you're not a real man because you like a power tail. I don't know. But like at the end of the day, yeah, this thing's almost $100,000.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be powered. So yeah, let's just show you the real thunk when this thing goes down, because that's what I love the most. These latches are really nice. Boom, locks in, so nice. Here's another one for you. So that's really good. Really, really good.
It is. It's really, really good. Okay, interior. There's a few things.
Okay.
This is one of the biggest ones. So we had a few people in and out of here last night and started seeing this. And that is just the headliner, not even sort of put in. I mean, you can stick your entire hand up there.
That's pretty crazy to me. When you said like the headliner's falling out, I'm like, oh, maybe it's just a little piece, but it's like literally not installed.
Well, come in here. I mean, you can literally see it's the entire piece. So it looks like it needed to be kind of tucked underneath this, but yeah, it's not even sort of put in. And I've seen that in some other places around as well. So I don't love that.
I just had really bad camera work there.
No, you're totally
I
fine.
want to check the other side actually. So let's take a look here. Door handles. By the way, this rear door is a lot longer. A lot wider, I guess we should say. The other thing I want to note is I talked to the other R1S owner today about this as well. He and I have both noticed on 2 different R1Ss window issues.
As far as what?
Like when we did our initial review of this truck, we said, hey, the window doesn't go all the way down. When in fact, it does go all the way down. Actually, it didn't right here. And so what I'm going to do is try and reset the window by holding this down for 5 seconds. So other R1S owners say that you don't see any glass here, but I'm seeing glass, of course. And then I'm going to hold the up situation.
This one went all the way down.
Yeah, that one went all the way down. So I'm just trying to reset this one by holding up for 5 seconds. The front driver window auto function died on me the other day in the Starbucks drive-thru, and I reset it like this. and then it worked pretty well. Oh, this
Nope.
one doesn't want to go all the way
But
down.
check this one over here. So it does actually go all the way down, which I personally really like because you can do one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
But, you know, definitely like, okay, we're having like window issues here on the truck, and it's all 4 of them have been acting up and acting differently for me. So I find that to be a little bit concerning. I don't understand why it would be different than the truck unless the length's a little bit different or the weight's a little bit different, but definitely weird that this one doesn't go all the way down and that one goes fully down.
Well, and I think these are different pieces of glass because this is a bigger door just compared to R1T. I mean,
certainly.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the roof, one thing, I'm actually going to jump up on the mezzanine to show everyone this really quick. The roof seems like a very overcomplicated piece of engineering to me, which I'm not totally into the top-down look on this truck. So if you take a look here, Coleton, for example, you'll see the front piece right up here. Whoa, there we go. So that's the metal piece you see from the outside. Then you have a glass section, which might be the same glass roof from the truck, not totally sure. Might be a different glass piece. Then you have a strip of probably plastic, but paint right here. Then you have the rear glass. Then you have another paint section here. And
That's metal.
That's metal there? Okay.
It's like very thin aluminum too. Like you can like totally bend this and warp it. Really interesting.
Okay,
there.
so careful for hailstorms with
Yeah.
that would be pretty crazy,
Oh
right?
boy, yes, would it?
And we get a lot of hail here, and then you get the thermoplastic rear cap right there. It just is a very complicated roof structure made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces to get across the roof. If we take a look at just a traditional car, here's an old Audi, 1 piece of metal with 1 cutout for a sunroof.
Yep.
So a lot of panels to fit on here. I'm not a manufacturing expert. But I'd be really curious to see what some manufacturing experts think about the ease of this. Maybe it's as easy as pie, but just nothing totally fits. And the other thing we've noticed is in all of these gaps, soap and water get just clogged up in there.
Yeah. I mean, they're big gaps too. I'm just sitting here looking at this. Like these gaps just kind of everywhere are not, I don't know. It just doesn't feel tight. It doesn't feel like the R1T. I've done quite a few of them now, had plenty through the shop, and they all feel, I don't know, they just seem better sorted to me. Again, this is a very early VIN. It is a press car, so some things to take into consideration there.
And my consideration is it's a press car. They probably went through it to make it the best they could.
You would think that they should make it a little bit nicer so we're not making these videos going, this is not screwed together the greatest.
Yeah, we want to say the R1S is awesome, but I think what we really need to do is to get some viewer vehicles through here as they progress. Now you're in a great situation where a lot of Rivian owners are sending their trucks to you for new car prep, and we've done lots of videos with them. You have people from like the East Coast sending their trucks out here to Colorado.
Which is just like, I don't know, it's mind-blowing, and I'm just so, I'm almost speechless when these guys call me and they're like, hey, I've got a client that's from DC, Washington, DC. He is taking delivery down at our Denver Rivian and having me detail it and driving it home. And I'm just like, that is just, what an honor that is, honestly. It's really cool.
And that's the power of YouTube right there.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive. So we know we're going to see R1Ss through your shop here for new car prep, for maintenance washes. And my guess is that a lot of these things, obviously Rivian knows about all of these situations, and they're going to be improved upon throughout the production line. So everyone got their updated timelines for production recently. It was a pretty rough, last few days on the Rivian forums and everything because everyone's getting pushed back. I think this might help ease the burden a little bit as Rivian figures out how to make these things a little bit tighter. I'm also just noticing like this piece right here, really nicely done. This cutout for the trailer hitch mounting.
That's really, really tight.
That is perfection.
And for a piece that goes in and out, right?
Yeah, that's a movable piece.
Exactly.
That's really, really put in there nicely. The other thing I think we should just mention is the R1S has a little bit more poke in the rear than the R1T. It's got this meaty stance following behind it.
You really see it right here, this angle right here, and how much it bulges out. It's got a really nice hips on it, as you would say.
Yep.
I think it looks extremely good.
Yeah, for sure.
My biggest complaint, especially as a detailer, is this though. This would drive me absolutely bananas. This is like the hardest spot to keep clean too, because it's
And
top
what
of the
do you
vehicle.
mean by this? What are you actually looking at here?
Gloss piano black. It is like, yeah.
So you wish you could do body color roof.
I don't think it would look as good because I do think this looks nice, but it is, I know this is going to be a nightmare. And actually, I do want to show you guys how bad this piece looks under my Scan Grip light here.
Yeah, grab your light. Let's go take a look
right
at
here.
this.
So
okay, cool.
Just check this out.
And again, we're not sure. We can't say who polished this or buffed it before, right? Because
we have no idea.
Right. Normally when we do these videos, they're paint evaluations straight from the delivery center. Here's how the truck came. And what would you say, just before we even look at this panel, what's your impression of Rivian's paint quality, of defects?
Yeah, so I've actually been really, really impressed. Your car was pretty awesome. Aaron's R1T that I did in the forest green was really good as well. There's a few things going on there. They're doing quite a bit of sanding, so denibbing. Denibbing, just for you guys quickly to explain, is when a particle gets on the paint, they go in there, sand it really quickly, and what I've seen on Rivians is you'll see these just spots everywhere, just kind of like a quick sanding disc, and they don't polish it out. So a lot of the detailing paint correction is doing that. And stuff like this too. Well, we're gonna bring this in and show you here. Look how dull and hazy this is.
Yeah, wow. That is just
really
pretty brutal.
Yeah, it looks pretty horrible, to be honest. And this is like literally on this entire section up here. It's
really?
Just, yeah, it's all over. There's just kind of haze everywhere. Let's actually show the piano black here because I saw that these were rotary trailed as well.
And that's also just down to poor.
Look at that. Look at that haze right in there.
That's down to probably poor buffing, poor polishing, wouldn't you say?
It is.
And that's not really a fault of Rivian, we can't say. Although it's been in their care the whole time, they just might not have Coletons at every service center polishing this thing up.
And that's kind of the important thing too, is like, we just had a Model Y Performance that just left here. I spent 40 hours on it, getting this thing dialed in. They don't have time to do that. What I am glad to see on this car, compared to every single Rivian that I've had in, there's not a ton of denibbing marks. So I'm not seeing these weird sanding marks everywhere. There's some weird polishing stuff like that. Again, this is a press car. I can't directly say your R1S is gonna come in looking like this. Do I think it will? Honestly, yes.
Okay, yeah. But at least for the initial. But there's also one last point I wanted to bring up before we end, which is the front bumper paint situation.
Yeah, this was really interesting. So these Scan Grip lights are really, really cool because what they actually do is mimic the sunlight. So a lot of guys in paint and body will use something like this to be able to match up paint. And I'm gonna bring you in here and show you how different these two pieces look. I'm hoping you can see on the actual fender, it's a lot lighter blue and a lot less metallic as well. Let me see if as we move closer.
They're two totally different colors.
Yeah, completely
this
different.
almost has a purple hue to it in a sense, and like a 10 times more metallic flake in there.
It's physically a darker blue than this for sure, and totally different metallic size. The amount of it, it's just really kind of strange on that.
So do you think the car was in an accident and they repainted it, or what do you think is going on here?
I see this all the time. My personal Tesla Model 3, you made a comment about this the other day of how different colored the bumper looked. Bumpers get painted on the different portion of the actual truck. So typically what would happen is you would have like the hood, the fenders, the doors, kind of the rear part, they would paint that and then the bumpers get put on. So they're painted at a different time essentially.
So we should go over to the Rivian factory and take a look at their paint booth. Perhaps we can arrange that so we can see how they're painting them, because overall, I think you and I would both agree, pretty good paint quality. How's the depth on this, by the way, your impression? Because you did take some meters.
Not great, to be honest.
Okay.
Now,
not good then. Forget what I just said.
So all the other Rivians I've touched, I've seen, I've put a paint meter on, we're fine. Now, again, we've got some polishing marks going on here, so that could play into why this particular car is a little bit low. We just had a car through this last month, the Lucid Air Grand Touring, had no paint on it. I physically could not polish the vehicle.
Right, you wouldn't. We sent it back to the owner and said, sorry, you got to find something else to do with this. But let's just take a couple readings on here. Again, the truck has been touched by a few Rivian employees, but it's a good idea to just get a gauge, I guess, as to what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to make a quick point about what this device does. So this is measuring from the top of the paint, so where this metal tip is, to the actual metal on the vehicle. Within that, you have your primer, you have color coat, and then clear coat. So just kind of a quick, for instance, most cars I see come between 4.5 mils starting to around 6. So 4.5 to 6 is pretty general for what I like to see. Let's just immediately come up here and start. And I'm reading this on mils. So that's 362. So I would like to see a lot more paint on this. I have measured more areas in this that had quite a bit more, but there's definitely some areas on here that seem to be a little low. I really don't like to see things in the 3s.
And what do you gather in here? All 3s down there?
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, this is 4.4 on the fender.
That's good.
Yeah, I like that. Anytime I see anything below that, like 3 threshold, I'm like, yeah, I wish there was more paint there. Let's come up here just by, I'm gonna flip this around for you guys so you can see it in real time.
4.1, 4.0, pretty good.
Yeah.
5, nice.
Yeah. So let's come down here. I'm always curious about these lower pieces. So pretty good.
Yeah, all 4 range right there.
There's just a few areas that are a little low. Again, that may be something that this thing's been polished a little bit, which can add up to that. So I'm not gonna solely base that on this. I've seen, I know on your truck it was a little, it was consistent, right? It was kind of.
Let's check the back hatch because that's new to R1S.
Yeah, and maybe this panel's kind of back.
That's a different panel than R1T.
4.0, let's do this, bring it back up. Whoa.
Whoa, 7. Okay, well, inconsistency is not good with that big of a difference.
No, that's quite a bit more. 5, 6, 4, 8, 9. So like 3 mils difference in between there, which is kind of crazy.
Okay.
Let's come on this side here, and then we can kind of look. Ooh. 591, so a lot of paint back there. Ooh, plastic piece here.
Ah, yep. Okay.
Didn't realize
What
that.
about the bottom bit?
This is plastic, and this is plastic.
So full plastic rear cap. Rear end.
What do you think of that?
Oh, I don't mind it.
Good
I
or
think
bad?
plastics are good.
Yep. Let's go over here because this was that crazy piece. 558. Yeah.
5.4.
I like this up here, but like when I hit that hood earlier, I was like, ooh, a little.
And you saw in the 3 range up there. Yeah.
I think I saw like 3.3 in one time, and I was like, ooh, that's a little bit
And that
low.
could be someone just hitting it too hard with some compound too.
I do want to show real quick. I'm going to go grab it and show you how thin 4 mils actually look. I have a sheet of paper that I use to calibrate this machine to show you how thin that actually is.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
So we're just looking off camera. So this is really kind of cool. This is a little sheet, and I put this on a piece of metal, and you're able to calibrate the machine. For your guys' knowledge, this is 3.94 mils. I hope you can see how insanely thin that is.
Hold on, let me get it calibrated. There you go. Yeah, holy smokes.
It is so thin.
So that is roughly the thickness of the paint in this area through here.
Yep, around 4 mils. So again, think about how crazy thin that is when you consider it has primer, it has color coat, it has clear coat on it.
Yeah. You're not working with much when you detail these things.
No.
And what would be a typical, let's just say, Porsche paint, which you're pretty familiar with?
Yeah, Porsche is definitely kind of on the other side of the scale where I typically see like around 8 starting. It depends on the color too, because they've got like Porsche Black will be pretty similar to this, whereas like GT Silver, which has tons of layers of paint to make the effect in it, it'll be in the 8 to 12 range. I've seen high as like 16 into like 20s and areas like that, but really, really kind of interesting. So yeah, I think R1S, they've got some improving to do, I would say. I think you would probably agree.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it seems a lot of the stuff from R1T that's carried over is solid, baked, and feels good. A lot of the new stuff feels early production.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a mixed bag for me. Now, let's just say I happen to take delivery of this vehicle, which I'm not at all, but let's just say that was the case. Would the defects in this stop me from taking delivery? No. It's a new company, new product off of a line. We've seen Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen products with worse issues than this, for sure. And so, part of being first is you have to understand your truck's not always going to be perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
But these things will be honed as production gets better down the line, time goes on. Engineers work with their suppliers to fix all of these things. I'm not sure what's done in-house, what's done with suppliers, but I mean, it just seems a bit crazy to me that even on a fully gone through press truck, that we're seeing gaps like this on this side
it's so far
versus
down.
this side, which is honestly the opposite direction. So Yeah, interesting days for sure. Overall, I think we can say we love the R1S. You're keeping your reservation.
Oh,
We have ours. Alyssa's going to be driving it. We really, really love the truck. This is sort of to be expected, but also I think important for us to make an honest video to our viewers, to reservation holders, to say, hey, here's the current state of the vehicle. And then as Rivian owners bring their trucks to you for details, for just to even bring by to do paint evaluations. If you own an R1S in the area, just come by and coordinate with us. We'll film a video and do an update to this as time goes on. Again, we're in the VIN 100s right now. We should do a VIN 1000, VIN 10,000, and so on and so forth.
I think they're definitely going to start getting things, and obviously, hopefully, maybe they see a video like this and go, "Oh, we got some things to work on," and can, you know, things take a while. I mean, as we've seen with Tesla, their cars when they first started are not the greatest. So I think
the first 8 years of their cars.
Yeah, exactly. And to have a new company come in and produce a product like this that is so, I think, well loved throughout the industry of like the driving dynamics, the everything is just like, it does everything. It's incredible. I think they can pump up build quality a little bit better on this. So
yep, I would agree. Didn't think it was the video we were going to make when we got a fully gone through press truck. I was like, oh, this is going to be way too perfect, and we're not going to have a video here. But honestly, it is. There's still more room to work on this. So thanks for watching another out of spec detailing video. Colton, what do we have coming on this vehicle?
Yeah, so we're doing an interior video on this one. We've had 4 dogs, my 2 dogs, your 2 dogs in the back, just using this thing as literally a jungle gym.
Yep.
In and out, in and out, in and out.
Kids in this thing.
We had 3 young kids in here, I think as old as, so like 3, 2, and 1 in here, and just like Cheerios, goldfish, snot, everything in here, and did a video on that. We also just did, similar to the R1T video, a full wash process on how to wash your Rivian R1S. Hopefully some nice content for you R1S reservation holders to get you through this period of time before yours shows up.
Yep, that's really our goal, is just to provide entertainment around the vehicle as they can learn about it. And, you know, of course, we'll be doing updates on the quality as time goes on. A lot of really good stuff here, especially most of the carryover from R1T, all really nice. So there we go. That's the end of the video. We'll have more coming to you soon on this blue R1S, but thanks for watching and subscribing to Out of Spec Detailing.